Good afternoon. Now, continuing my efforts to try to get to a different place. Every time I go out for a walk now, I have come to Scadbury Nature Reserve. I was supposed to go down to Bow Beach, got up excited because there had been a marsh tit, I believe, aircraft flying over. A marsh tit spotted, and they seem to always be there, and it would be a lifer for me. So I thought, let's go, let's do it, let's give it a good run. I've seen red kites down there, gassanders, kingfishers in the past. I've only been down about 2 or 3 times. And I opened up the map, as I warn everybody to do. Google Maps, turn on the traffic feature before every trip. Do not fall into this trap of just thinking everything's going to be clear because it's only 12 o'clock in the afternoon. No. It was bad because it was an accident. They shut it southbound. I'll show you the screenshot, seeing as we're here. And the power of editing and all the little tricks and things you can do with editing. So that was off the cards. So I thought, what should I do that I haven't done locally? So it was a bit windy. I don't want to go to Greenwich Park, even though I've done Greenwich Park, but I thought I'd do a bigger walk around there. And there's a little pond on Blackheath that's good for, there's a grey heron there, some tufted duck. They all get very, very close. So I thought I might go and have some fun with photography. Anyway, I'll just get straight to the birds quickly, sorry, because I'm waffling a bit. And then I'll talk about the boring bit, because it started off boring and I thought this is not going to be a great day. And it ended great. So anyway, just right of the car park here, off Old Perry Street, it all kicked off. Redwing, goldcrest, great spotted woodpeckers, jays, European jays, blue tits, great tits, missile thrush, I think it might have been song thrush. And I started off getting odds and ends and then, rubbish pictures. There was a bit where a jay flew into some trees in the distance with 100 branches in between me and it. And I thought, okay, this is when I'm going to practice my manual focusing techniques using my new setup that I spoke about in one of my previous videos. So yeah, I managed to get all the way through. It's very, very hazy because of all those branches. And then eventually it made its way all the way out and bosh, right in front of me, filling the frame completely, and sat there for ages. I thought by the time I'd lifted my camera up, it would be gone. But I filmed for about a minute or so and I thought, okay, remember the pact I made with myself about taking photos. So I fired off a few photos and making full use of my camera's ability with the very good image stabilizer to go down to like 1/50th, 1/100th of a second to preserve quality, to not use too high an ISO. And you might notice I'm trying to speak a lot more clearly. I'm trying to get rid of my ums and my ahs and that thing where I suck my teeth, clear my throat, whatever. If I have to edit it out. Sudbury Park Nature Reserve. So this is the first sign you'll see from the car park on Old Perry Street. I've parked at the end of Old Perry Street and I walked around the open field bit. Okay, let's just go to there first. And I'll just say, if you come here and you go off Old Perry Street to the north side of the reserve, which is open fields, bushes, hedgerows, trees, and horse paddocks, be very, very careful. It's very muddy. And I lift weights. I do heavy squats, heavy deadlifts. I've got good stability and strength in my legs and my back. And a couple of times I was this close to ending up on my back. Very, very slippery. Do not go over to that area if you don't have good balance and leg strength, because you'll go over. I mean, I was so close. Very, very muddy. Over here in the wooded area, it's pretty much all like this. Very, very dry, very, very solid. So anyway, let's get back to the birds. So yeah, the jay and then this great spotted woodpecker was, at first up in the top of the trees, and eventually it made its way down and was just giving me frame filling footage. It was hammering away at this bark, trying to dislodge all this old damaged bark. I didn't see it pull out any grubs or bugs, but it went off on one for a while, just working on that. What's the behavior? They were looking for some bugs that I don't know about, or something else, nest building, I don't know. but it was working on that for a long time. And the nice little surprise, I heard it, and then I saw it on one of the big branches, and it's hard to tell because there was a big flock. It was like when I was I'm going to mention it again, in Kuala Lumpur. When you get a big flock of birds, it's the same anywhere in the world. They just come through about 10 or 15 different species. And I'm trying to distinguish between nuthatch and great tit because they're about the same size, and the great tit does like to jump around on the thicker branch. But eventually you get that unmistakable going down the big branch or up the big trunk, and it's the nuthatch. And I did manage to get off quite a decent bit of film of it from a distance, and I've made some tweaks to my camera settings, and it's really focusing a lot better than before. I've been using this new manual setting that I've discovered, and my new manual focusing ring, and sometimes I don't even need it. The camera's autofocus locks onto the bird's eye. It's really, really good. And then apart from seeing, I'm pretty sure because of the size, it was a song thrush. There was no red on it, and it was through some twigs and some branches. So nothing really, it was from the back as well, so I couldn't identify it very well. But unmistakable redwings started appearing in a flock. They usually do that. And more footage to add to my little stockpile, my little library of redwing footage already. So I'm building up a really good library, a stock library of all these birds. Some of them, like the redwing, I've only had footage for the last week of them. So they're just getting a lot more chill. It probably helps if I'm standing in the one spot for quite a while and just let everything go past me. Eventually it does go past me. I just said but after there was a bit of commotion with all these other birds going through, I did hear the unmistakable sound of one of the smaller goldcrest or firecrest, and it turned out a little flock of goldcrest. I managed just maybe 2 or 3 seconds of footage before it worked its way into the back of the woods. What I believe is going on is just to the, where are we, the sort of northwest of this bit of wood are the houses and the street, and people are absolutely going to have feeders out. So that's why you're going to see jays and great spotted woodpeckers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, here particularly, instead of deep into the wood here. And like I said, got lots of great tits and blue tits, and check in every single one because I wanted to see if there was any little exotic in amongst them, i.e. at least a coal tit, something different for in here, and it never happened. And when I come a little bit further south, east into Kent, like even Joyden's Wood, I get coal tits. So I haven't had them here today, bit of a shame. But yeah, really good practice with the manual focus. There was a blackbird on the ground right behind some leaves and some twigs on the ground, and normally I wouldn't bother. But I thought this is all practice for my manual focus, and I got it. And again, once you break through the leaves and the twigs with the manual focus, and the camera's autofocus, eye detection, bird detection kicks in, it sort of takes over. And then what I've learned to do is, in the past I would press back button focus to hold the focus there. I now, once the bird is in a sort of a line of focus, I press the manual focus button, which stops the autofocus. So if the bird moves around within a sort of inch or so, it doesn't move, the focus doesn't move from that particular section. So that's my little bit of practice. I'm getting really, really good at it. Sometimes I thought, don't bother, but no, focus through branches, get some practice here and now, because I need to get it into muscle memory. It only requires me to move my thumb across, and we're off manual focusing. And just trying to think anything else. Yeah, I've not bothered, as you can hear, the parakeets are a complete pain in the neck. I haven't even bothered to film those, but they're everywhere. And I saw, when I was filming this great spotted woodpecker, looking into a bit of a tree, looking for a nest or something, the parakeet just landed and chased it off. So yeah, I mean, I've heard from Ricky, hi Rick, that he's at the local park we've been to, Shepherdleys, there were 4 great spotted woodpecker nests, and they've all been taken now by parakeets. And the nest box I've put on my tree outside my home, the hole at the front has been worn away, and I'm like, what's doing that? Is that a squirrel? And no, I caught some parakeets tearing away with their beaks to make the hole bigger for themselves, and I shooed them away, and I haven't seen them since. some long-tailed tits, but just up against the bright sky just wasn't worth it. And magpies, do you ever film magpies? They're good for a photo in strong sunlight when they fly, because you get all that iridescent purple and blues and greens on their backs. But some parakeets, wood pigeons. Oh, I mean, this was in the distance on the open bit of the reserve. A couple of stock doves in different positions, and they stand out because usually a feral pigeon wouldn't land on that top of the tree like that, or on its own on this other tree to the north. And yeah, two different positions of stock doves, and they just catch the slightest. As you get into this hobby for years on end, you notice these little behaviors that you know other people wouldn't notice, and it makes you lift your camera and just double check. And you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, I never noticed these things here or there." Yeah, because when you become a birder, you do squirrels. You notice little things that give away positions of different birds, and if it's something unusual, your eyes just your brain is not used to that movement. And I just seen some redwing move over there like that. They're 4, 5, 6. Yeah, they've just flown into that tree. I've got enough close footage there. I'm not going to take any more. And there goes the jay. This place here. So if you come to this path between the top of the Old Perry Street and the car park, to where these wood carvings of bears are on this tree. Yeah, I might try and film for a second once I finish talking. Yeah, redwings, they're still there, and they might give me a. Yeah, there's some picnic tables over there, so you can come here and sit in the wood, and you might get some birds come over. You throw some nuts, and make sure it's nuts. Don't give them any bread. And yeah, you could get some forest birds come over and eat from your table. I'm not sure. I don't come here often enough. Maybe just once a year. The last time I was there, probably 2 years ago, I got some pretty good photos of a firecrest. It was making a big noise over in the southern section. Oh, now that's a grey-spotted woodpecker call. You recognise that call? Yeah, this just seems to be the place. I can see, yeah, there's something bigger over there, thrush-sized. Yeah, so now I'll finish up the talk and just think, is there anything else I need to update you with? Yeah, like I said, if you go to the open bit in the winter or the rain, be super careful. But the wood is very, very good. I didn't do the full wood today, just this top section, because it was all happening here. So Scadbury Park, another little vlog done of a new place. Hope you enjoy, and yeah, come and check it out.